You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Blake Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Last Man In podcast number 139, and the last podcast of the regular season. Because,
No.
yeah.
No.
Playoff starts
Regular
next
season
week.
ends on April 11th,
No, it doesn't.
which would be next week.
No, it doesn't. Sunday's the last day of regular season.
Yeah.
And playoffs start next Wednesday. Start a week today.
Oh, sweet. Good. I read it wrong then. I thought
Playoffs
it
start the 12th.
Good.
Today's the
What
5th,
were you
right?
Good.
reading?
I set my haircut. I wanted it to be the night before playoffs start because I'm doing the beard thing again.
Yeah.
For who?
For me.
There's no Flyers.
But what team are you cheering for? You're growing
Everyone,
it
I'm
for Granlund?
growing it for everything.
You're growing it for Granlund?
My heart's not with Granlund, but it will be one of my hashtags, yes.
There you go.
Who are you going Harry for?
I don't know.
Harry for
People
Henry?
can- Harry for Henry. Who's that?
Henry who?
I don't know.
Henry Lundqvist?
I don't know. I have to pick
Henry?
the teams, and I'll go off the teams I'm picking. There's a few teams I'm not confident in.
Like?
Like the Capitals. I would not be afraid.
Really? What makes you think that?
They don't scare me. I don't know. They're
They
just
don't scare you?
no.
Oh.
They're
I
just
hope they
not.
scare me.
Yeah, they're a
And
good hockey
Braden
team.
Holtby.
I hope
Get
they-
Harry for Holtby.
Garbage.
Harry for Holtby. There
Harry
we go.
for Holtby.
I just
Boom.
said Holtby's garbage.
Boom.
Why would I want to cheer for Holtby? I don't like him.
whatever.
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
Harry for Holtby's a good one, but he can be Harry himself.
That's true.
I gotta send my love to not mowing for Mitch.
No.
Marnman.
Manly for Marner?
Manly for Marner, that's a good one.
you go.
I like that.
Oh my god. They're not getting past the first round.
Harry like a
Manly
goat
for
that is
Matthews.
Matthews.
Manly for Matthews.
Goaty
He already
Matthews.
he already is a manly man.
You can be stone cold for Austin.
Oh shit.
I
That's a
don't
good
know.
one.
I'm just...
That's a really good. Now we're in it.
Okay,
We'll figure it out eventually.
so today we're gonna kind of recap and talk just very briefly about the Jets because there really isn't much news. They're out of the playoffs. They're really not a factor.
Don't give me that shit,
There's
Greg.
there's
There's
a very-
always stuff to talk about
Hey,
with Jets.
There's a
Sorry.
very interesting Jets game tomorrow night that I'm now very intrigued to watch.
Why? What's tomorrow?
Because a certain couple of players are playing.
Jack Roslovic and Kyle Connor.
And Eric Comrie got called up and he's starting.
Why would
he's
they-
starting-
What?
He's starting tomorrow.
Why? Why? How is that?
'Cause the Moose aren't in the playoffs.
Your bad season here. You've earned a game to get schlacked against.
No.
Okay.
They're playing Columbus. They're
Okay,
gonna
well,
get
now the
pumped.
cat's in the bag. No, Kyle Connor's playing Saturday. Jack Roslovic and Eric Comrie are playing tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Roslovic's from Columbus, so
Yeah.
that would make sense.
So
Okay.
tomorrow's game is actually worth watching now,
So
in my opinion.
there's a couple things. There's an article that came out in the Free Press that I want to touch on, and there's also the debut of the new Young Guns, which we'll talk about. That's basically all the news that there is. Then I want to talk about the Olympic thing because that came out and that's caused a gigantic shitstorm.
You weren't
And
going to swear.
I know.
Actually, I swore already.
Ruined
So.
Yeah, you did.
Blew it. I'm the only one that's good, guys.
We're not family friendly.
We're not.
We're
It's
not.
fine. It caused a kerfuffle between everyone. Players are upset. Owners don't seem to care. And once again, it seems that the Board of Governors are out of touch with what fans and players want, which
It's
is
a real cluster schmuck.
And to be honest, it's probably leading to the next lockout, which will be Bettman's fourth lockout since he's become commissioner. So that's good. That's what I want in my commissioner.
I
A
do.
guy that can run a league so poorly that he's had 4 lockouts in 30 years.
But with
Or
the
less than 30
with
years.
the lockouts that he's done, he's made you as an owner more money.
Still.
Not still.
No,
That's
still.
what you hire him for. He's doing his job. He's getting you more money and gaining you more revenue. Every time there's a lockout, you get more revenue.
Is that
That's
true?
the problem.
I'm on Bettman's side. For
The
this
problem
one,
is
for sure.
money's everything.
We'll wait till we get to the Olympics then, because I'm pretty sure I'm the opposite of what you guys are about to say.
Okay. And then we'll quickly touch on the playoff picture as pretty much everything's set in stone. Other than just matchups, we pretty much know every team that's going to be in it. There's just a tight race in the East, and I also want to touch on something else when it comes to the playoffs, and then we'll finish up with outro comments and He Shares Heroes, or Hopefuls.
Yeah, he's
Heroes.
sure hopeful.
Dogs are excited.
Dogs.
About
They're
Heisher
fired up.
hopefuls.
They're-
I've noticed you've never seen the spelling of Heisher in your life.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
could not spell it. Because I was
spell it?
outlining the show today. I'm like, this is what we
I
got to talk
think
about.
off the top of
Does
my
it
head,
start with an H?
It's
Herciers, I think.
It's H. From what I remember from the Olympics, it's H.
Olympics? You mean World
or
Juniors?
World Juniors. It's Heisher. Hold on.
That's
let
the
me
new
just spell
Olympics.
it.
Let me just look it up.
H-I-E-R-S-C.
Whoa, Heisher. Hesher?
H-I-E-R.
No.
No, there's no
Oh,
E.
it's
There's no E.
Hischierer.
Yeah, Heisher. Okay, so I got it wrong.
Yes. Okay. Regardless,
Nonetheless.
Jets are starting 3 rookies over the next week, so they'll be using Kyle Connor, Jack Roslovic, who's been very good for the Manitoba Moose this year. Kyle Connor's been very good since being sent down for the Moose as well, and Eric Comrie's had a decent year as well. What do you think of these? Obviously, Dan, you can go first.
I can. Good. I don't know. Why not? What do you have to lose? These guys
player
burn a year.
getting
They're
ran and injured.
like Roslovic and Connor burn a year no matter where they play this year. So doesn't matter if they,
And Comrie's already.
And why not give Comrie a couple games? I'm assuming if he plays well tomorrow, he'll play Saturday too, and then just let him, and then see where you want to see which direction you want to go next year, right?
I'm excited because they get a taste. Now in the interviews next year, they're going to be like, yeah, you know what, that one taste showed me what the NHL is about, so it really hit the offseason hard.
Yeah, you know that's
Like,
how.
come on!
I
hate
still don't.
sports with the stupid quotes.
The thing is, I don't see Jack Roslovic
They're asked
starting.
the same bloody questions every day.
Oh,
I don't
I know.
see Jack
They're
Roslovic
robots.
starting on the team next year. I could see him being a first call up. When Brian Little unfortunately will probably get hurt next year, or Mark Scheifele, if either of them go down, I could see Roslovic being the first one called up, but I don't think he's going to start on the team. I think this will give him a good sense of what to expect, but at the same time, you're going against a team who's going for a not President's Trophy anymore. I don't think they can win it, but they're still going for a home ice advantage in the playoffs, so they are playing for something.
Yeah, they're very good.
So I think it's going to be a perfect taste on what it's going to take to play against playoff teams. And it's going to give them a good bar, because playing a game like this late in the season is important.
And they're on a roll. Like, the team's playing well. They've won 5 in a row. They're 8
Columbus?
and 2. No, Jets.
They've won 5 in a row?
They've won 5 in a row. They're 8.
What?
They're
They
8.
did it.
They're
I know.
8,
Like
they're
they could
8,
always have 2 full websites.
They're 8 and 2 in their last 10 games.
That's...
They did this last year too.
But here's the thing, too.
But not this good. They only won 4 in a row last year. They're guaranteed to be over 500 this year now. They're 3 games over 500 right now.
With insane...
They have 83
loser
points.
points.
They could be 87 points.
That'd be decent.
Which is sad, because then you look back at those couple games where they were close, then a couple bad goals go in. They win those games, maybe they're in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know,
other thing,
it's
too...
It's not a 13-point gap anymore. It's 8.
Yeah.
So.
Along with that, I think that for whatever reason, just consistency hasn't been their thing this year. But you got to also look. They were they had a very tough schedule up until about February, and then it got easy. So maybe having rest in practices has led to them playing better.
And the injuries it's not helped.
Well, right now they have more injured players than they've had all season with the injuries on defense.
Look what they've done. Like, they've brought up Nelson Noje. He's been extremely solid for a 19-year-old kid. And
no issues there.
And they've brought up Melchiori, and they brought up Brian Straight, and these guys are playing defense instead of Postma, instead of Sherrod, instead of Enstrom, and what's happening? They're playing better. So maybe this
It's also because they don't want to go back to the AHL.
But I'm just saying, this just shows maybe you need to move on from what you've been doing for the last 6 years.
Hey, why?
And try
It's
something
worked
new.
You mean Paul Postma is not who you want?
But Enstrom, Sherrod, Postma, like, maybe you just say,
But how is Sherrod going to get his revenge on Nazem Kadri for his 6-inch pole vault into his chest?
I'm sure he'll live. I'm sure Buff can do it for him.
You know what would be interesting? Why doesn't Sherrod just go play for the Ottawa Senators?
They'll sign people.
Yeah, exactly. They'll
Anyway,
sign him.
I thought Noje's been really solid.
Oh,
I'm not saying
I'm
not saying he should be on the team next year, but he could be on this team in a few years.
Yeah, he's been pretty fantastic.
He's been solid. And honestly, Brian Straight, he's been decent. Like, why didn't they give him a chance? At least give him... I know his preseason he didn't look good, but he's looked good to me when he's played. Why didn't they at least call him up and give him a shot? I don't know. Why did it take him 80 games to call him up when they're done? Or 70 games, whatever.
Because that's when they tend to play their best hockey.
I know,
The
it's
season's
just-
already done.
I mean, but
When
maybe
they're out of the playoffs.
maybe I'd love to see him finish on a 7-game win streak. That'd be awesome. If they can win their last 2 games,
Give them a good.
go into next year with
Set
some
up.
momentum.
What if they won 3 games next year? 10-game win streak?
Boom,
Ooh,
done.
it's like
Has that ever happened in Thrashers history?
I think their max is 5 or 6.
that's just a winning franchise coming over here for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Line is a record setter because there was no records to break. So, I don't know.
Hey, easy. He's setting
That's-
he's setting 18-year-old NHL records too.
And then we have a guy setting American records.
Took him 80 games to set records, but he's doing it.
He's doing it. I know.
Who?
Line was
Line.
setting records from pretty much the 5th game.
Yeah, it's a lot.
but
It's a
Line
lot
had
harder to
records
set.
to break that weren't there before.
I'm not
They're
talking
like,
about franchise records. I'm talking about league records.
Line
Yeah.
tied his shoes today, guys. He did it.
Record breaker.
Record breaker.
Record
Just showing
breaker.
you the records that Matthews had to break were harder to break.
Well, you got
Means his
you,
talent
have
is
to
a little
earn it.
higher.
you have a longer. You have 100 years of franchise history to go through. Not
and shit
not 15
and a terrible franchise.
with no playoff wins.
to be honest, when you look at it, and they show like the Leafs versus the Jets, because the '93 Jets had 4 really good rookies. They had Alexei Zhamnov, Keith Tkachuk, Teemu Selanne, and one other player that's
Pretty sure there's only
escaping.
3.
There's 4.
Happy Bullen?
No, there was another forward. I'm trying to think what his name was,
Steen.
but no, it was not Thomas.
Steen.
Wow.
It was Thomas Steen.
No, it wasn't.
Alex Steen's father.
I mean,
Same person.
No.
Okay, well,
No, and-
while Greg looks for this.
Line's been
we're-
very impressive for an 18-year-old kid. He's done a lot of things that 18-year-old players have not done in 30 years or that haven't done ever. So he's been very impressive.
He's been good.
I mean, the Calder
Fine.
Trophy, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, now, like you look now, like the last week or two, Matthews is probably the favorite and he's pulled ahead. But I'm gonna go against what the media's been saying. They've been saying all year he's the favorite. As far as I'm concerned, he wasn't the favorite until maybe last week. He's pulled ahead in the last week, and his team's playing important games, so he's gonna get more spotlight, and he's performing well, so he's gonna get all the attention. Laine's not playing for anything, and he went for a bit of a skid. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Matthews
So
probably
what did
is.
we learn? Because Laine went for a skid, Jets missed the playoffs. Blame
No,
Laine.
they were already out.
Hashtag Patrick's fault.
Evgeny Davidov was his name.
Oh, wow, really? Shut up. He played like 5 games that year, didn't
Played 79 and had 49 points.
Never heard that guy in my life.
Who?
Exactly.
Evgeny, he only played 2 seasons with the Jets. He was also drafted in the 12th round in 1989.
There is no 12th round. That's not real.
Yeah,
We
back
are
then
Make
there
it
was.
up.
We are
What
the
number
12th
did he wear?
round.
What number did
I don't know.
Jenny wear?
He was drafted 12th round,
What number?
235th overall.
You Google his name with Jets, you're finding his name.
Did you guys realize that the Columbus slogan is still "We are the 5th line"?
11. He wore number 11
For the Jets,
for the Jets.
I thought they got rid of that
Okay.
horror awful slogan, but they didn't.
we are
The
the
fifth
fifth
line.
line.
We are the 5th line. Still there.
Actually, hold on. I just want to say
Still a thing.
the CHL playoffs are going on right now, and there's a game on TV the other night. No, it wasn't. It was on TV. I didn't watch it, but it was with St. John Sea Dogs versus whomever they beat. And there was literally, like, I was following on Twitter, and it showed 5th line, and there's just one guy there. And I was like, just call it the spare skater. This is so much worse. Who is this kid?
Another note about the St. John Sea Dogs, their defenseman, Thomas Chabot, is property of the Ottawa Senators. And because Ottawa's had so many injuries on their back end with Mark Mathot, and Eric Carlson was injured, they tried to pull up Thomas Chabot from St. John's,
As emergency call it?
but they couldn't do it because he's in playoffs, and you can't call a player out mid-season from the CHL.
That's awesome. Good, because
Yeah.
they're
They're probably not only are they going to win the QMJHL,
probably
they'll
gonna win the
probably
Q.
they'll probably win the QMJHL, and on top of that, they might head all the way and
To
win
Windsor.
the Memorial Cup.
Speaking of which, while we're on it, Windsor lost in the first round to London.
Yeah, I know.
What kind of Memorial Cup host are you? The worst ones. I hope you're not as bad as Saskatoon a
You know
bunch
what?
of years ago.
Do you know why?
They sucked so bad. They
Do you
were
know why
awful.
Windsor was bad? Why they lost? They have one defenseman on their team. I believe it's Logan Stanley.
He's injured, so he didn't play.
That's why.
Yeah?
'cause he's
That's
hurt.
it? Okay.
I was
They
going to
have
make a joke
plenty
because
of
he was
other
playing.
guys.
They have a very good defensive.
Mikhail Sergachev.
They have a very good defense core. It's just
You should cheer for them. They have a Leafs prospect.
Jeremy Bracco.
No, he got traded.
No, Jeremy Bracco's
he's
on that team. Yeah.
Okay. He did play for Kitchener, got
Yeah,
traded.
got traded from
Nonetheless,
Kitchener. And
Jet-
Kitchener got everything.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of 16
When
and
you
17
trade in
year olds.
junior hockey, it's like you're all in
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Like,
The only team that doesn't get it is London. They're the only team that doesn't
they
get
go
this
all
whole,
in, but
they
their
go all in
cupboards
every
are
year.
so stocked
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter.
It's like the Montreal Canadiens from like the 50s to the 70s. Yeah, we could trade you everyone, but we still have every French person.
yeah, because we're allowed to draft only French people, and you don't even look at them. He's ours.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
look-see. No look-see.
Anybody named with any type of French name in them.
Like
they're
London
ours.
also has the appeal of like college basketball and like college football programs because people know that more. They are like the Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Or
if
the
you're
Duke.
good at
Or the
football,
Duke
yeah. If you're good at
of
football or
college
basketball,
basketball.
you're getting a call from Duke in Alabama. If you're real
Same with
good.
college hockey. You're getting a call from UND or the Gophers or
Basically, anyone if you're going to play college hockey, play in the northern Midwest states.
yeah, Boston.
Don't play anywhere else.
Speaking of North Dakota, that's the other thing that happened
Yeah,
since the last podcast.
check that shit out.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Tucker
Dan.
Pullman.
Sign with the Jets.
Oh, okay.
1 year
We were
deal.
wrong.
That's not the reaction I thought we were going to say. They cut their women's hockey program.
Yeah.
Did they?
Cut it.
Yeah.
Because of funding. They
Yeah.
lost funding, so they cut the women's program, they cut swimming, and they cut diving.
But to be honest, well, don't their players already do that?
Who?
They're hockey players.
You take that back, you son of a bitch.
Just kidding.
Take it back.
I take it back. It is like I think from a university standpoint, there's not much draw there unless you're playing hockey. So it makes sense. Shocking that it's a women's program that's getting cut. Like that one was kind of shocking, but at the same time, there's not much draw there.
No.
And especially for a women's hockey program where there's just bigger schools. Like Minnesota's just a bigger school. Boston College is just a bigger school. Boston University, bigger school.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Huge. Yeah.
Oh.
But
I know. In hockey,
But North Dakota is
Wisconsin's-
still it's
They're a top 10 program.
Grand Forks isn't a big city, but North Dakota, like the university, like UND, is a huge.
It is huge.
sports school.
If you can stand here, you know what? I will do the challenge.
But would you
right
not
now.
rather live in Madison, Wisconsin, than live in Grand Forks, North Dakota? And
No, 'cause
personally,
that's-
No, I
for
wouldn't.
somebody
I
who's
wanna
been to
live in-
both places,
No, I wouldn't because
I would
Grand
rather
Forks
take
has a
Madison.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Grand Forks
So
does
does
about-
Madison.
Yeah, but Madison, you got to marry your cousin there.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I've been
No.
there. I've been to Wisconsin.
That's South Dakota.
They don't even have
You don't
teeth
have
in
to, but it's
Wisconsin.
frowned upon if you don't.
Yeah,
The only thing you have to do in
I don't
Wisconsin
even
is
like
cheer
cheat-
for the Packers, which
See-
I will not do.
yeah. See,
But
I
I'll
don't
cheer
even-
for
Why
the
would I
Badgers.
live in Wisconsin when I can get their cheese curds in North Dakota?
Yeah, exactly.
But the cheese curds in Wisconsin are better
No,
than North
it's
Dakota.
the same.
It's the same.
From the same
Wisconsin
Nope.
factory.
cheese curds.
Better.
Okay.
It's
But
authentic.
Here's the challenge I'm putting out to anyone if you're ever in Grand Forks. Stand on any street corner, anyone, ever. If you can't see A, an American flag, or B, a UND Fighting Sioux logo and or a combo of the both,
Or Fighting Hawks logo.
you're not in Grand Forks. You're not there. It's not real.
Get a map.
It is
Real-
actually
Yeah, it's
very
impossible.
true. It's like going to Seattle and going near
12th man.
the football stadium / baseball stadium. You cannot find a non-building with a 12th man flag somewhere
Yeah.
in it.
Or
Like I
even
think I counted 37 in 5 minutes.
in the greater area of Seattle too, Seattle, wherever. I'll just use
Washington?
Seattle. Someone walking around with a coffee cup or thick brimmed glasses or a smug attitude. Hipsters is what I'm getting at.
So basically anywhere on that. No, it's anything on the western seaboard. So California, or Oregon, and Washington. Chances are you're a hipster.
Yeah.
Chances are. Although Portland is one of the biggest booming cities in America right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Which Portland? Oregon or Maine?
Oregon.
Portland,
Which is
man.
where I would
I don't know
love
where
to live
that
in Portland,
is.
except I'd have to cheer for the Portland Trailblazers, which I don't know if I could do.
No, you don't have to cheer for any team.
Yes.
I've lived my
You have
whole
to-
life in Winnipeg,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
only a third of it have I cheered for the Bombers.
You're a trailblazer. You can carve your, you can carve your own path right to the friggin' Portland Trailblazers, because that's where you're going.
Perfect.
Ah, there it is.
Excited.
Yeah.
If I
so,
were to
anyway.
live, there's 2 cities I'd live in if I was in America, and it'd be either Portland, Oregon, or Madison, Wisconsin.
Of the-
Fun
Or
fact.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Fun fact: there's 2 cities in the United States that Greg has been to. In his
Yeah.
life.
No, I was gonna follow up and say, well, if I'm allowed to say places I've been, 2 places I'll move to. 1, Calgary.
I-
2, Minneapolis. That was
I've never been to Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
So how
really?
can I? No, the furthest
No,
I've
you've
been
watched a Ducks. You've watched an Oregon Ducks game on TV, right?
on TV.
Imagine those people walking around the city and you're there.
No, I've been to a lot more places than just that. It would
I
take a
don't
long
think he
time
has.
for me
I
to
don't
list off.
think he has.
I can list it all off.
Don't do it.
Please don't.
It would take a while.
There's a great bit by a
I've
great
been
comedian.
to 40 of the 50 states or
Well,
something.
there's a comedian, Tom Segura. He's like, hey, if you've never been to a place, imagine what you think those people are like. Put them in a city. You're there. That's it. You don't need to travel.
You can't leave.
Yeah, he's like, that's it. That's
So
it.
imagine French people. Imagine them underneath the Eiffel Tower.
Disclaimer.
That is France.
This represents a view garbage.
No, it does not express my view.
Well, you keep going with
We
this.
never know where you're going.
I'm scared.
You're a trailblazer.
No,
We don't know where you're going.
You belong in
So
Portland.
you're telling me if I imagine the people of Quebec,
Yep,
but in France, I'm there,
you're there.
but with an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can have whatever you want.
yeah.
Because I've heard Montreal's a good party town, so I'm assuming France is a good party country then.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm from what I know from French people, they can party. That's what I'm more into.
You know what? I went to school for 12 years in a bilingual aspect, and I never once got invited to a party. I think that's more telling of my character than it is of.
Probably.
See, the people that I know, because I went to bilingual school for 7 years.
Yeah. So I'm a little better than Greg.
A little better. A little. He knows all of his different verb tenses.
Yeah,
I stopped
for
at the imperfect, which is why do you have a verb tense named the imperfect?
Which is directly translated to the imperfect. What?
Yeah. And then I'm like, I can't take this language seriously now.
Say imperfect. This is imperfect. Bullshit. I will not
Regardless.
stand for this. What's that? Bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie.
What's that mean?
Bourgeoisie is like the upper class of royal rich people. In quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
My favorite
in history class in France, you literally only learned about French shit all the time. And I'm like, what about America? They're like, not real. I was like, what? And I'm pretty sure that was a real big thing. What about World War II? Well, France is dope in World War II. It was bombing.
Until they wave the white flag.
Yeah. And then they're like, you know what's another cool place to go to in World War II? Switzerland. They were like neutral ground.
They were.
Yeah, cool place to go. It's like, let's go learn about the cool shit. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
No. I don't even know where I was taking this, but just the people that I know from French immersion, or just from French in general, are partiers. Most of the people I know that you went to school with in high school.
Yeah, Greg's more
I feel like
friends with
most of
those
the people you know, period, are partiers. So
Well, maybe it's 10 people I hang out with, Daniel.
maybe
Greg's just easy. He has a trail
I
blazer.
am a
You're
he
free
correct.
blazes
spirit.
his own trail.
Yeah.
He's a peacock. You gotta let him fly.
Anyway, you know who will not be flying?
Who's that?
The NHL players to the Olympics.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
Okay, you know what? Here's my thoughts on it. Good. I wasn't going to watch anyways if they weren't going. I don't
Why?
care.
Because Giroux wouldn't be on Team Canada and you won't.
Yeah, because Crosby's on the team anyways. But it's not because of that. It's because the IOC has a ball, and they don't want to share with the NHL. The NHL knows if they send their guys, IOC gets all that money. The NHL gets nothing. It's the only professional sports league of the Big Four that has to shut down in the middle of their season for 3 weeks for them to go and play and come back risking injury, i.e. Tavares last time he went. I would have been jacked up
Zetterberg.
if I was an Islanders fan.
Zetterberg.
Zetterberg got hurt too. There you go.
And then you got to go to a world showing and your team makes it to the gold medal game and you're a little sick, so you take some cough medicines and apparently you can't play because that was a performance-enhancing
You're
drug.
doping, yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholas Backstrom, like that
Yeah.
would have made a difference.
The sad thing is the NHL. It's all dollar signs. The NHL. That's all.
But-
That's all they care about.
But do the players not see that it's a dollar sign for IOC if they show up? Like, I like how the players turn a blind eye to the NHL aspect
But
of
what's
it.
wrong with the Olympic Committee making money?
Well, because they're using someone else's product, the NHL. I mean, no, I see both
No,
sides.
Can I
know.
I
Can I
get
read
it,
this statement first, and then
Whose
we'll
statement
go in?
is it?
This is the NHL.
Oh, okay,
and then
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
go to the NHLPA
Yeah,
sector. Okay. We have previously made clear that while the overwhelming majority of our clubs are adamantly opposed to disrupting the 2017-18 NHL season for purposes of accommodating Olympic participation by some NHL players, we were open to hearing from any of the other parties who might have an interest in the issue, e.g. the IOC, the IIHF, the NHLPA, as to reasons the Board of Governors might be interested in reevaluating their strongly held views on the subject. A number of months have now passed and no meaningful dialogue has materialized. Instead, the IOC has now expressed the position that the NHL's participation in Beijing 2022 is conditioned on our participation in South Korea in 2018. And the NHLPA has now publicly confirmed that it has no interest or intention of engaging in any discussion that might make Olympic participation more attractive to the clubs. As a result, in an effort to create clarity among conflicting reports and word I can't pronounce right now, speculation.
Big boy word.
Erroneous speculation. This will confirm our intention to proceed with finalizing our 2017-18 regular season schedule without any break to accommodate the Olympic Winter Games. We now consider the matter officially closed. Bum, bum, bum.
Putting their foot down.
So this is what the NHLPA retaliated with. The players are extraordinarily disappointed and adamantly disagree with the NHL's short-sighted decision to not continue our participation in the Olympics. Any sort of inconvenience the Olympics may cause to next season's schedule is a small price to pay compared to the opportunity to showcase our game and our greatest players on this enormous international stage. A unique opportunity lies ahead with the 2018 and 22 Olympic Games in Asia. The NHL may believe it is penalizing the IOC or the players, or both, for not giving the owners some meaningful concessions in order to induce them to agree to go to Pyeongchang. Instead, this impedes the growth of our great game by walking away from an opportunity to reach sports fans worldwide. Moreover, it is doing so after the financial issues relating to insurance and transportation have been resolved with the IOC and IIHF. The league's effort to blame others for its decision is unfortunate as the decision itself. NHL players are patriotic and they do not take this lightly. A decent respect for the opinions of players matters. This is the NHL's decision and it's alone. It is very unfortunate for the game, the players, and the millions of loyal fans.
Like, when you hear those two statements, isn't it just, like, it baffles me that, like, these players play for these owners. Yet this is how they're talking about each other. Like, all right. More so from the players, and it's stupid. I don't know. I get both sides of it, like Cam said, but I mean, I don't know. It should be more, at the end of the day, it should be more about
growing the game.
You're hurt because you're not making money. So what?
But someone else is making.
If you
that
don't go
money.
to China, like the NHL wants to get the game exposed in China. They're having games there, like preseason games there next year.
Well, there you go. Then why do they need to go?
So, why not expand to South Korea? I mean, you might not catch on, but where's how does it hurt you to go?
Because you're closing your league for 3 weeks and losing all that revenue.
Okay.
And risking injury.
But the games are still played. They don't lose games. You still get the same amount of revenue. You just get it over a longer period of time.
But
there's no extra revenue they can get from not, like, if they have a break for 2 weeks, or they play games for 2 weeks, then there's no, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same amount of money coming in. It's no different.
I'm gonna put it on.
The NHL just does. They're too proud to just give in.
Well, they're
essentially
like, put yourself as a business owner hypothetically. Like, say if you own a business, say if we all own a business and we bounce balls all day. That's our job, bouncy balls. And then we're like, for 2 weeks, we're gonna close our bouncy balls and go bounce them across the street. And people still pay the same amount of money, if not more, to watch us bounce over there. But when you're close, you don't get any money.
So what you're saying is we're going to bounce our balls somewhere else.
It's vacation. Yeah. It's like when a restaurant closes for 3 weeks.
But it's not closing. Though your employees are still doing the same thing for someone else, and that someone else is making money.
That's
what you're saying is
that's part of the open market.
What you're saying is
I'm not okay with that.
If someone else wants to bounce balls, but they want to use our balls to bounce, they can't have our balls because our balls are our balls.
But they're still making.
But they're
using you to bounce the balls.
This is the worst. Oh.
I'm totally with the NHL. Like
Then you're a monster.
You can. I've never not deciphered. Like I've never not gone to the Olympics.
Here's my question. Say this holds up, they really don't go.
Yep. Team Russia's going to win.
So if they look to the AHL. How does that work? Does the NHL say Team Canada comes and says Jack or Team USA comes and says we want Jack Roslovic? Do the Jets have to say you can have him, or is he?
They have to okay it.
Or is he exempt because technically he belongs to
the Jets have to okay it.
But he's an NHL player technically.
Yeah, but the Jets have to okay it because it's the same for World Juniors, AHL. Same
so
thing,
even though they can't go, so even though the NHL's not going, players can still go if the team lets them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Like Ovi is going.
And
It's
do-
clear Ted
and
Leonsis
do they
is
get
going to be like, yeah, go.
like,
same with Kuznetsov.
Is there a suspension? Like, do they not get paid for the
See,
games they miss?
and
Like,
that's the
That's
interesting
it.
thing.
That'll be
do?
what it is. They will not get paid for the games they miss.
They will not get paid. That's their suspension. Because, like, think about
That's
it.
what I'm thinking.
but how do you
Honestly,
make it fair? Like, for a team like just say for a team like the Jets, you have to think Mark Scheifele probably make Team Canada. Blake Wheeler probably make Team USA. Patrick Laine would make Finland for sure.
Dustin Bufflin.
Bufflin
Nikolai
might make Team
Ehlers.
USA. Trouba might make Team USA.
Ehlers, Denmark.
So how do you you either have to let all 6 go or no one goes, and that's just, arguably the Jets' 6 best players. Are they going to let them go for 2 weeks?
No, they're not. And the NHL said they're not doing it either.
And you can't
That's
just
the
say,
no.
okay, Mark, you can go, and Blake,
Yeah.
sorry man,
No,
you got to stay.
That's
Like,
the no. That's what they're getting at. They're not going.
so if the Caps let Ovechkin go, then they have to let Backstrom go. They have to let
Kuznetsov go and
Kuznetsov
Burakovsky
go. They have to let Holtby go. They have to let the whole.
They could.
Holtby
But
made
they-
his stance very clear that he's
would
with
stay.
his team. Yes.
But
But that's also because Braden
not-
Holtby understands what a paycheck is and compared to what patriotism is.
No, and I think you're misguided as the owners are right now, thinking of only revenue. I
But that's
understand.
what it's a
no,
business.
I understand that, but this is the issue with the NHL. Over the last 30 years, we've looked at short-term resolutions. We've never looked at how to build the game for long-term success. That is why we're going to approach a 4th lockout in 30 years. That is why we're not going to be part of the Big Four anytime soon, because the MLS is coming up closely, and they're going to take the NHL off, and that is because of Gary Bettman. That is why we've had to move franchises, expand, and have failed franchises, have probably some of the biggest revenue sharing among the major 4 sports, and on top of that, we're not going to display our talent to the biggest stage that they offer. That is a problem. The owners are thinking about the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They're not thinking about 10, 15 years down the road.
Because a lot of these owners are old.
But that's not true. Regardless of that, you got to think of what's going to happen in 5 to 10 years. When the lockout happened in 2005, the solutions they came up with in 2005 to end that lockout were fine for about 5 years, and then people found a way around them, which led to a lockout in 2012. Then the solutions in 2012, well, people are already finding ways around those solutions. These short-term solutions that they're figuring out only work for the short term. That is it. The league right now is not looking at long-term success. How is it that the MLB, the NFL, and the NBA can all settle their disputes without locking out, and the NHL doesn't, and all those companies are making more money. The NBA is raising their salary cap to over $100 million. The NHL was supposed to do that with this new TV deal in like 10 years. That's never going to happen. It'll probably stagnate at about $75 million and never go up from there. I think it's BS that they're not going, and I think they should go because I think it'll grow the game overall. And you know what? You know how you stop the KHL? You make an NHL Sweden, Switzerland, China, Asia. You make an NHL affiliate sub league to the NHL, not necessarily like the AHL, but a sublet league that is sponsored by the NHL, and then you create leagues over there so those players can play in those leagues, and that's how you grow the game because they see, okay, this is an NHL subsidiary, this is NHL Asia doing this game. And then these guys can go and play their preseason games there. I'm all for that. You have a chance to grow the game right now. I think that both sides are being very... I'm not trying to defend the IOC. I think that they both need to have a conversation, go to the table and figure out what it is that the big issue is. And when it comes down to the money of it, maybe what happens is some of the television revenue should get leaked down to the owners. But what we're looking at is we're looking at short-sighted solutions and not something that's going to help the game and the league out in the long term.
I get where you're coming from.
Because
with the short-sightedness.
this Las Vegas thing is going to work for 5 years, and then it's going to fall flat on its face.
You think it's going to work for 5? I'm giving it 2.
Yeah, but that's like the NHL. They've tried working with the IOC, and it's clear that the IOC is not going to work with them. And like the IOC says, nope, our way or the highway. Like you've heard, I've run.
But you have to look at the track record. Look at the track record of the commissioner of the NHL.
It's not a good track record. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
he gets he makes the league money. He makes the owners money. He gets what he wants. But does his means justify the end? Because you look at how he does it, it's awful. He's the worst commissioner in professional sports. Maybe not as bad as Goodell. okay,
But the owners are behind Goodell.
Let me rephrase
the
that.
same way they're out behind Bettman.
Ethically, maybe he's not as bad as Goodell in terms of safety and stuff, but in terms of running a professional sports league, he's terrible. He gets results somehow, but look what he does to do it. I think he's bad.
I wouldn't say that it gets results. That's why viewership in Canada has gone down so much, so drastically. I don't think it's because of Bettman, but it's a continuously amount of lockouts. And honestly, if they it was shady for the NHL to say, "Oh, we'll let you go if you sign an extension to the CBA." That was shady.
Yeah, shady. Players want to go. That's how they're going to do it.
I disagree with that.
There's ways around that, and that's what they're doing.
Unfortunately, I think that this is going to be that sticking point where, like, do you think Alex Rangelov's coming back next season? I doubt it, especially if you can't play in Russia.
Was that with you guys? That must have been with you guys in a group chat where one of you guys said, like, free agents, why wouldn't they sign a 1-year contract in, like, Switzerland to be able to represent
Why wouldn't you?
Maybe they will.
Why wouldn't you?
If you're that patriotic, go ahead, but I'm pretty sure they're like patriots.
And the thing is, I think this doesn't account for a lot of the Canadians. Like, obviously, Crosby, McDavid, and like guys like Matthews and Eichel, they're disappointed. Obviously, I'm sure Taves is as well. But when you're growing up as a kid, it's not Olympic gold. And Cam's talked about this numerous times. It's the Stanley Cup is what you play for. And unfortunately, that it's not the same way when you're born in Europe and Asia. It's you play for your country, and that's why Russia's going to win. And it's going to be a second-rate tournament. And maybe it is smart of the NHL to stay out of this one, but it might hurt the game overall and might hurt the Olympics overall.
Do you think people will watch it?
I don't know. Like,
I'll watch to see how Russia does. Because Russia
depends who's there.
Russia's going to have
I will
an
level
Olympic
with you.
caliber
I
team.
probably won't watch it.
Because
it's the only thing I watch Winter Olympics. I don't care about the Olympics.
I think the thing about Canada is, what about, then it comes down to junior players. Like guys that are proud of junior property. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois, if he doesn't make Columbus next year, is he going to go? Is Nolan Patrick going to go for Canada? Like, what's going to happen? Are these guys, like, is Mikhail Sergachev going to go?
I think they're going to take from, they're going to be the Spangler Cup team, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
Well, do you think that it's going to go so far as to, if the NHL doesn't...
Mixed with the World Junior team.
Like, say we get to... What the hell was that?
I don't
We
know.
don't know. There's dog murder going on.
Someone just died at my house.
It's okay.
But what if it gets to like beginning of the season next year, and a group of Canadian players come out and say, "Well, if we're not going to the Olympics, then we're not showing up to play our games."
Well, that's great. Then
Like,
don't
what
get
if
your
they-
paycheck. That's
Yeah.
your job.
But I'm just saying, what
You're
if
getting paid right now?
But what if they go and let to like a self-imposed strike to try and
I don't think it'll happen.
To stronghold the NHL.
Yeah.
They're not.
Good
It's
luck.
not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Good luck.
Especially when
It's messy.
The thing is there's a high. Unfortunately, there's a high supply of players. There's not, teams aren't. We just add a 31st team. It's going to dilute the league a lot. But regardless of that,
I would just love to see.
There's not the demand for players. It's not like we're.
I would love to see how the league is run with someone else. By someone.
I think a lot of people want that,
I'd love
except
to
for the
know.
board of governors, because like Cam said, he's making them money, and if every year because here's what happens, and it's a genius plan. They close for a year. It's like, as bad as this movie is, don't mess with the Zohan or whatever that is with Adam Sandler.
The one where he's a hairdresser, but he's like a spy.
Yeah, something like that. I don't really remember the movie, but the one thing I remember is there's this one shop, and it's called Going Out of Business. And that's what the actual shop is called, Going Out of Business. So they always have sales because they're going out of business, but they're not. So it's this constant, we have to go get this because they're going out of business. And that's what is happening, is what you're seeing is you're having a constant, oh my God, they're going to lock out, so we got to help the revenue out. And then as soon as they come back, we're going to flurry with a bunch of revenue, and we're going to flood it with we're going to buy more jerseys, we're going to sell more season tickets, we're going to sell more, center ice is going to be sold again, because it makes people want it more. And it works because it's making the league a lot of money, but at the same time, it's not long-term success. It's short-term. And
it might be a dark year in the NHL next year.
Anybody, I'm sorry, but anybody who runs a business and says, oh yeah, we'll just take a year off every 6 years, that's fine, we'll be fine, is an idiot. That is not how businesses run. I'm sorry. Like, if I ran a company, we'll say, and every 6 years I had to go back to my employees and say, sorry guys, I'm locking you out because you guys are making too much money, see you later. And then I come back and it's like, well, in a year, oh, well, we're making record revenue now that we're open again, so we'll wait another 6 years. You're in the same contract disputes again. Do you know how long I'd have that job for if every 6 years I was closing down my store or my company?
30 years.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It would happen once or maybe twice, and that's it. Because shareholders would eventually be like, why don't we have money for a year?
Well, who are the shareholders for the NHL?
It's the Board of Governors.
That's not happening because they're making money.
For everybody,
Like, it's running back to money every time.
I understand that. But if my business, if one of my subsidiaries is owning a hockey team, and for an entire year I'm missing out on that revenue, that's a problem. Every 6 years I'm missing an extra $30 million in my bank account. Eventually that comes down. Right now, the Board of Governors wants to blame the players for being greedy. No, it's the Board of Governors, it's themselves being greedy, and it's run by a terrible commissioner and a terrible deputy commissioner.
Well, who is even a prospect to be the new one? Like, is there a GM right now in the league that's like, or an owner that's so good at his job that you could be like, I would...
Team president, Brendan Shanahan.
You know, it's not, you know what's hilarious
That's a
about
pretty
that?
quick jump from
No, but you know what's funny
player to
about that?
GM to or
Another
player
He's
to
one-
not. He's president.
Another one I
safety
was
to-
thinking of, though, seriously, from the same cut, Stevie Y. He'd be a great commissioner. Because he's been on the player side, so he knows both sides.
And I think that's what you need. And I think it'd be more beneficial to have somebody on both sides.
But played hockey somewhat.
I don't think he's ever played hockey. I don't think he knows how to freaking skate. He has not done this league a damn good
one
thing.
of the best coaches of all
I understand
time
that.
didn't skate.
But he knew the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bettman knows the game. Like, legitimately,
He
when
knows
he
how to
became...
get booed. At the
when
game.
he became...
We can't totally hate him because we did get a hockey team back.
Yeah, they're
he
not
could-
my favorite
Yeah,
hockey team.
did you hear that?
I'm just
Hold
saying,
on. Did you hear that nice comment he had? He's like, hey, Winnipeg, you better get these numbers. Like, he never does that to anyone else.
You
I was like,
better...
what the fuck
this
is
isn't
that?
going to
Pardon
work
my
unless the
language.
building is sold out every
He
night.
didn't want to
Is
do
what
it, but he
said.
did it. He could have been a real dick and not done it.
Exactly.
But-
So, essentially, Cam's on the side of the owners. I think that what we're looking at is short-term solutions, not long-term
Okay,
solutions
here to answer the
for
question.
success.
No Olympics or Olympics. I'm saying there will be no Olympics for the NHL.
I don't think there's going to be Olympics, no.
That's a no.
Probably not.
Okay.
But I want Olympics, but at the same time,
I
yeah.
want it too, but I'm being
It's not-
realistic
yeah.
about it right now.
And like the thing
with
is,
that-
I understand it from the owner's perspective. I understand they're not getting paid, but sometimes you need to think about the long term of it.
I'd love to know which owners are for and against it. That'd be really interesting.
Well, I could tell you one thing:
I
that
know.
when Las Vegas moved to, I think we talked about this last week. Las Vegas was voted to become the next NFL team for the Raiders, like the Raiders to move there. 31 teams voted for them moving. One team didn't, and that was the Miami Dolphins. Why? I don't know, but it's probably because that one owner's like, no, they can't have nice things. You don't get nice
that
things.
was Miami.
Miami
You'd
was
think
the one
it'd
team
be the LA Rams
or
taking
somebody like
from
that,
revenue
or
something
like San Francisco, or another.
It was
but
Miami?
It was Miami.
Why?
I don't know.
What's the connection there?
There's none.
That's weird.
But that's the thing. Like it could be like the New Jersey Devils
Maybe
owner
he meant
is.
to check yes and he put no by accident.
Maybe it's
and
the
then
New
he
Jersey
realized
Devils
after he
owner
said
that's
it.
all against it because he doesn't have any superstars, so nobody would be going for
we,
me.
you know what?
Devils.
If there
Taylor
was,
Hall might make
if
it.
there
I
was
know,
a
just
vote
kidding.
for for and against, and we got to see, I would for sure say Ted Leon's was like, yeah, go to the Olympics.
It's probably
Ted Leon's is the coolest owner.
it's probably 20-10.
Well, he's gonna let his star player go. So
You know who else
There's
would
nothing
probably
for
be on
him
that
to
side?
lose, that's
You know who else would probably be on that side? Would be the Winnipeg Jets. They'd probably be on the side of letting them go. I can probably tell you
Shipman?
Yeah,
No way.
why not?
No way.
why not.
he would.
You're trying to grow the game. You're
Dude,
trying
what
to grow
if
the game.
Blake Wheeler breaks his arm and Buff
He
gets a
doesn't-
concussion. It's over.
Because they've
Your
dealt with-
season's done.
No,
He
I'm
let
sorry,
them go to
they've
the
dealt
World
with-
Cup last year. It could have happened there.
But it's the same thing. It's the
As
same
I
thing.
wear a World Cup hoodie. Come on.
But it's the
here's-
same thing. They're playing hockey. They could have gotten hurt.
But here's the thing. Didn't somebody get hurt? Yeah, Aaron Ekblad got hurt at the World Cup.
Freddie Anderson.
Freddie Anderson got hurt, but that was fine. He played all year. Regardless. I could tell you probably 3 teams that are on the side of no, we're not going. And that would be the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Chicago Blackhawks.
So 3 of the most powerful franchises in the league.
And probably all the original 6 teams. Probably Boston's in there as well. New York's probably in there as well. The reason why I'm saying that is because you have old mentalities running that. And a lot of those owners were around when the NHL didn't go to the Olympics. Simple as that. It's only been a phenomenon since 1998.
Who actually... Oh, it's Toronto Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Who own the Leafs?
Yeah. It's no longer the Manitoba, the Ontario Teacher Society. They like MLSC owns like the Raptors. I think they own the TFC. They might own the Argos. Yeah, they own.
Well, what I've heard is that they're gonna Team Canada specifically. They're probably gonna look to guys in the KHL.
Yeah, obviously, I like Nigel Dawes, Dustin Boyd,
Kyle Wellwood.
Actually, they have
All the old
citizenship
Jets.
for Kazakhstan, so they won't be able to play for Canada.
Yeah, they can. They're dual citizens.
You at the front door. You can
What?
have dual and play for both. I want to get my American citizenship and play for Team.
Brett
USA.
Hull could have played for
Tons
either
of guys
country.
have dual.
He got his dual because he got snubbed.
Yeah.
I think Giroux should go get it.
But the other thing,
And then play for
he
US.
could.
He should.
Like,
No one would
Marty Brodeur just
My ass would make
Marty
it.
Brodeur got his dual citizenship right at the end of his career.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dirty dog, go play for the USA World
And that
Cup
and
team.
no, and the reason behind that, and one of the biggest reasons behind that was because he wanted to join the NHL, and the NHL is based out of New York, and you got to be
Oh,
employed.
for a job.
So exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
So then you didn't have to go through visas and all that because NHL players actually have to do that. Like they have to get work grants from the department, like from USA, to be able to have their job.
I'm sure there's a real big department on each team who gets to do
exactly.
that fund.
Regardless, let's move on to NHL playoffs.
Yep.
As I think all but 2 playoff spots have been clinched at this
I
point.
thought it was just Toronto waiting to clinch.
No, Ottawa still hasn't clinched.
So
But they
2
will.
in the East, West is done.
West is done.
But the East is it's not going to change.
Well, Tampa Bay is they're far out.
They're 5 out and they got 3 games left,
Yeah.
so they're going to have to run
It would
the table.
take- it would
and the
take a
Leafs are going to
miracle.
have to lose.
Leafs or the Senators would have to lose out, which obviously neither of that's going to happen. But I really wanted Boston not to make it.
How is Toronto right now in the second wild card? I thought they had home ice.
No, because they lost yesterday. Ottawa won and Boston won.
Oh, and while we're on
They have less points.
the Boston train, since they clinched the playoff spot and Drew Stafford played over half the games they had, that
And scored last night.
the pick that they got went from the pick the Jets got went from a 6th to a 5th round pick next year.
Oh,
And
shit.
I'm pretty sure if they make the conference
No,
final,
they're not.
then it goes to a 4th. I'm just saying if.
Part of me wants Toronto-Boston so they can avenge that series, but I think that if they play Boston, they'll probably lose to Boston. Their best bet is playing against the Ottawa Senators, and that's their only bet. Because we all know if they were to play the Montreal Canadiens, how that would go over, because they haven't won against them in about 4 years.
what would be the matchups if playoffs started today?
In the East, it would be Washington, Toronto, and then Pittsburgh and Columbus, and then it would be Montreal, New York, which is guaranteed now. For sure, Montreal and New York are playing against each other, the Rangers, that is. And then it'd be Ottawa, Boston.
Montreal's playing New York.
Yeah. And then in the West, show me the West.
The West.
Because
we got-
Chicago clinched Western Conference.
Chicago's got a Z beside
Yeah,
their
because
name.
they won conference.
Okay, so
they're first in the conference.
Chicago, Minnesota, St. Louis, Anaheim, Edmonton, San Jose, Calgary, Nashville.
So I think it's Chicago, Nashville, and then Edmonton, Calgary. Is Edmonton in first, or is Anaheim in first?
Anaheim.
Anaheim, Calgary. Then
Edmonton,
it would be
San Jose.
Edmonton, San Jose.
Minnesota, St. Louis. No! Come on.
That's your favorite
Snooze
series.
fest.
That's your favorite series,
No,
Cameron.
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Vladimir
not at all.
Tarasenko.
I don't like
Michael
him.
Granlund.
He's a great person off the ice. I don't like him on the ice.
Who?
Tarasenko.
Oh, why?
He's boring to watch play
He
hockey.
scores goals. On the
In
cover of
the
NHL
most
17.
boring-
You like
way.
you like the Minnesota Wild and you think that St. Louis is
I
boring?
like Minnesota because they play as a team.
They're boring
They
as
have
shit.
nice jerseys.
They're boring.
They're not boring.
Boring.
No.
The series, actually, out of all those that I'd be most inclined, I want to see the most,
Ed Money.
Edmonton, Calgary. If
much?
that could happen,
Can it?
yes, it can. If Edmonton wins their division. Edmonton is what, 1 point? Or they're
Four.
4 points behind
Yes,
Anaheim.
that's not happening.
They got a game in hand, though.
But can Calgary move into 3rd?
Calgary can also...
Calgary's
No.
5 points back. No.
No.
I thought last week it was happening.
No,
On
it could
Sat-
still
Why
happen.
is it
On
falling
Saturday,
apart?
Yeah,
it was
Edmonton
supposed to
won
happen.
and took over first place, and then, yeah.
Chicago, Nashville, I'm down for that one.
That'll be a good series.
Because
At
I'm
one
cheering for
point,
Nashville.
And then
Saturday.
don't wait. But then you'll have Chicago versus Minnesota again in the second round.
We all know how that ends.
I'm taking Nashville. I'm taking Nashville.
I'm taking Nashville.
I'm taking
PK
Nashville
Subban.
solely just so I don't get the matchup.
Hey, we have to do playoff picks next week.
Yeah, we
do.
do. We got to do a full playoff preview show next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Wait,
Book it.
Flyers still got a chance, right?
No,
For
they
sure.
don't.
Is that where there's a big E
There's
beside
an
their
E
name?
next to their name. Actually, both the Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning are still technically able to
VE,
go.
No.
Cam, VE means they have an exceptionally good chance of making the playoffs.
Yes.
So the Leafs have 93, and they can. Oh fuck! What did I press?
Can you
broke
not?
I broke his phone.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Okay, let me look at this here. Yeah, so they
Fantastic,
are
Ottawa.
currently 1 point behind Ottawa. Yeah, like it could happen. Like Toronto could move into second. The best would be
Just
Boston.
give me Toronto in the playoffs. I ain't missing a game.
Neither am I.
Straight up. And, okay, if we're picking a not miss, obviously we're going to talk about this next week anyways, because it'll be set.
Yeah.
Because
Set in stone next
we have
week.
to do it Tuesday then, right?
Yeah, we have to do it Tuesday.
Okay.
Next Tuesday will be the next show. Yes.
Montreal, New York, piss on that parade. I'm not watching a game. No way.
I'm actually excited
No
for that series.
way.
That'll be a
am I
good series.
Ottawa, Boston, blech. Washington, Pittsburgh. Oh, no, wait, Washington.
It'll be Washington, Columbus.
No, I like both.
Or no, sorry, Pittsburgh, Columbus.
Oh,
And
good.
came out today that Chris
I'm watching that
Letang
one.
is out 4 to 6 months because he has to have surgery on a
Herniated disc in his neck.
herniated disc in his neck.
What is
Thank you,
that,
Dan.
Means there's little discs in between your vertebrae and your spine, and one of those is bulging out.
Yep.
From
he has to
stress?
have
Like, how would that happen?
No, well,
He got hit. It was a hit.
it was either a hit. No, I think he said he was working out and
Oh.
went.
What did we learn today?
Don't work out.
And what was the lesson
be
you learned
healthy.
earlier?
Don't be
Patrick Laine went cold. Jets missed the playoffs. Blame Patrick.
He was
Hashtag
actually-
blame Patrick.
He was actually hot when they got eliminated.
Well, then maybe
He's
get
not
hot
hot. I'm
next.
sorry.
Blame Patrick. That's what I'm
I'm
getting.
not blaming Patrick.
Blame Patrick.
I used to poop on Patrick's parade.
No more.
Pooping on Patrick's lane.
I've
is what I
slowly
used to
turned
do.
around. You know who I've started pooping on way too much, and it's
Who?
undeserved? Nicholas Patan. Nicholas Patan.
I don't poop on him. He's a
He's
very good
the
player.
only player I know that gets an AHL bobblehead for playing in the NHL.
Well,
I'm
actually, I found out
tired
why.
of his backhand
I found
they
out
sauce.
made
why.
him at the beginning of the year.
They make him at the beginning of the year. Of
course.
And they didn't think that he was
Oh,
going
by
to
the
be
way,
in
guys,
NHL.
AHL, they're mini bobbleheads. Not
Yeah.
even real.
They're not big
Hey,
bobbleheads.
hey, I have a Shakes bobbler, and brings a lot of joy in my life. Okay,
I'm gonna wait a few years till he gets his Jets one.
I'll
full
pay
size.
money for that one.
Full size.
So would I.
Yeah,
Um,
go. We didn't have any comments.
the last thing. Did you guys see the Brad Marchand?
Yeah.
S-
Great. You want me to I
Pierce or Spear?
I have his track record here if you want to read it.
Hey, but he
You want me
could
to read
still
it?
win the Rocket Shirt.
His shot, of spearing that guy?
As
Yeah.
far as I'm
Don't
concerned,
cross check him in the back. What are you doing? I'm on Brad
As-
Marchand side. Clean.
as
I
far,
know
as far as
suspension.
I'm concerned,
He's done it before and he hasn't been suspended. So if they
He's-
call him, which he has a hearing,
he has a
call
hearing.
or in person.
he's getting
I think
suspended.
he's getting suspended.
No.
He's gonna miss part of the playoffs.
Here's his suspension history in the last 5 years, 6 years. So spearing,
Before Dan starts, sorry, my guess for this, because he has 2 games left this season, he's gonna get a 3-game suspension. So 2 regular season games and one
That's like
playoff
6 games in the playoffs. 1 game equals 2 in regular season.
Yeah, so he'd be
If
suspended
he
for 4.
gets-
So he's either gonna miss 2 playoff games, 2 regular
He's
season
not
games,
a guy. Who cares?
and then he jabbed him in the face when he was down on the ground.
I messed up. I only saw the nut.
If-
jab,
So
but
he-
that's not
he-
bad.
if
He
he
speared
gets suspended or fined, he'll be an 8-time offender.
Yeah, so maybe
Read
6
read
games.
us off the list and the
So
amount of games.
The spending, the
spending.
spearing is pending.
Okay.
He was also fined $10,000 this year for a trip.
Yep.
Yep.
In 2015, he was suspended 3 games for clipping. Same year, he was fined $5,000 for roughing.
You keep
Same-
money. We're at 15.
15.
I'm at games.
Okay.
Same year, he was suspended 2 games for a slew foot. 2012, he was suspended 5 games for clipping. 2011, he was fined $2,500 for a slew foot, and in 2011, he was suspended twice for an elbow to the head.
So he's
7 games
As far as I'm concerned-
$17,500.
and 7 games.
As far as I'm concerned, if he finishes first,
no, wait, that's 12 games.
if he finished first in goals and points this year, he does not deserve the Hart Trophy because he's an asshole.
Okay.
That makes him even better in my book.
Regardless, after that kind of history, he might get 6 games, which would mean 2 regular season games and 4 playoff games.
I just suspend him for the rest of the year. Just teach him a lesson.
But what happened was he speared the guy, and I don't know if it was intentional, but his stick.
You think it wasn't?
No. The spear was
He gets
intentional.
no benefit of the doubt from ever.
The spear was
Never.
intentional, but then when the guy was down on the ice, he went to the ref and was like skating over top of him and just put a stick in the guy's face while he's laying on the ice. Yeah.
What do you mean over top of him?
Total accident. Sure.
I can find the gift for you, and he just kind of jabs at
He
his
made
face.
it look like it was an accident.
Exactly.
I bet you.
He's very good. Well, the thing is, though, is Gustav Nyquist should not be playing hockey right now because he kind of swung his stick.
Sidney Crosby shouldn't be playing hockey.
That was not a bad
He broke a
slash. That
guy's-
happens every game.
He broke.
He nutted Riley.
He broke a
in the
guy's
nuts.
nuts and then he chopped a guy's
What?
finger off.
Wow. The finger off is those slashes happen all the time.
Oh, did you hear what?
I've been slashed in the hand before. My finger's still here.
Yeah, but it was in the.
That would have been a fucking hard slash. I'm just saying.
Did you see the replay of the slash?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very routine slash. It's what
Like,
a
very
lot of
hard.
Are
players
you
have.
sure you know what a slash is?
Yeah.
He Paul Bunyaned him.
He
Are
did
you-
not Paul Bunyan him.
He was like, "Oh, here we go,
What? You watch
fastball
that?
down the pipe."
Honestly, if you
He
watch
called
hockey,
the shot.
those
He
slashes.
pointed before he swung.
Ryan
it.
O'Reilly will never have children or never have another child now, thanks to Sydney.
Good. Maybe
He's
the Tim
also
Hortons
not
will
allowed to-
thank him.
He's also not allowed to drive trucks during a drive.
Why would they thank him? That could be business in the future.
No, it wouldn't be business because that would make sense.
Just
Because
a
let's
quick
never
note.
focus on the future. We only focus on right now.
Quick note to add some fun to our upcoming summer. The NHL expansion draft, the protected and available lists are going to be public.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the drafts on TV.
Oh, good. Sweet. I'm
So,
excited.
and that was because of backlash from fans saying that it should be on TV because it should be something that is.
So who's on the poster for
but-
NHL's Backlash? Because we know Batista's normally on WWE. But
So
like,
for Backlash?
who would be Bettman? Who's his back against? McPhee? Because McPhee's the GM?
No.
With Kelly McCrimmon in the middle? Like hard styling? You think? No? Who's the coach? Do we know the coach of Vegas yet?
No.
Do they name it that night too?
They'll probably name it either before.
They should name the protected,
What-
unprotected coaches.
what probably will happen is they probably won't
They
get a
just
coach
leak all the
until,
personal documents.
Everything.
Just
they probably won't
everything.
get a coach until the summertime.
Why wouldn't you get a coach?
Because
leading
why
into the
wouldn't you
draft?
wait until all the coach firings happen so then you can pick from the litter and have the proper pick?
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying you hire your coach before the draft.
No.
That would affect how you draft for sure.
I think you already have candidates in mind, but you have to
just-
see how it plays out,
Who
right?
is gonna coach Captain Reed Duke? I just want to know that.
Patrick Waugh.
He's playing soccer by himself
Yeah.
Patrick
in the
Waugh.
hallways. No, don't. Guys, Vegas, if you're gonna get Patrick Waugh as a coach, you may as well hire us three. We'll split his one salary. I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I'll take.
I'd take
one-
his one game salary to coach
I'll
for the
take.
year.
Yeah, I'll take. Dan's got it right. I'll take one game
I'll
as well
take-
if you cover travel.
I'll take
Yeah.
Brad Marchand's fined amount, so the $17,500. I'll take that as my payment.
You know,
But he has to spear you first.
can I? Oh, if he's gonna send his stick over, because I saw us chirping with Komarov, I'll send his stick over. I will, and I'll sell it on eBay. I don't care. I'll do it. I've never
Komarov.
shipped a hockey stick before, but I think we can. I think
It can
it's
be done.
possible.
It can be done.
All
Okay.
right.
So we're going to lead up into playoff preview next week, and that's basically all we're going to talk about. We'll do kind of a post-mortem on the Jets at some point in the future.
Yeah, fucking bury him.
God, talk
Bacon
about how...
holes, bacon souls.
But no, honestly.
Guys,
they're
guys,
not in the playoffs.
Why are you burying me? No.
I hope on Saturday Blake Wheeler skates to center ice after the game, takes his gloves off, puts them at center ice, takes his
He's
helmet,
taking his jersey off
Takes
because
his-
jersey off our back game.
takes
He's
his
already
jersey
doing
off,
it.
puts it at center ice, takes his helmet off, and then just disappears under it. Then just sinks under the ice.
Fisting up in air.
We got to do a postseason...
I'm done.
Fuck you guys.
And then he shows up at the World Cup 3 days later. Oh, he's fine. Oh my God, he
You
thought he
two are the
died.
hardest
It was
people to
staged,
not
God.
swear at.
Go ahead.
I'm never going to be able to do this.
No,
I'm
it's
never going to
impossible.
be able to not swear.
Impossible. No, what's the word? The French word you try to say? It's imparfait. That could be your swear. Imparfait. Imparfait. Imparfait.
I could just say seal. I just be
Seal?
yeah,
Seal.
too soon, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Too thick.
To clear up someone who we just, like, their child walked in the room and heard that swear. Petit is little.
Yeah.
And fuck, spelled Phoque, is every French or bilingual kid's favorite day of the year of school in grade 5. I'll never
Yeah,
forget.
what's
when
it
I heard
called?
It's,
Actually-
it's Phoque is a seal.
It's
So
a
it's a little seal. But it's spelled on paper. Apostrophe TIT space PHOQUE said T fuck. Tit fuck.
Fuck. The best
Little
part,
seal.
the best part about that for me, when I found out that seal was fuck in French, was
I'm pretty sure my teacher was
Yeah.
bombed the day she told me, like, because she hated that day. Like, when she's like, okay, in this word, you say it fuck. And the whole class went silent. And we're just like, uno fly, or how, like, unos más. Just
Yeah, one more time.
One more time, teacher, please. And she's like, everyone say it with me.
Encore.
Encore. Fuck. And we're like, this is before GoPro, so we're like,
Is this a test?
Is the principal gonna fall through the drop ceiling and punch me if I say this?
The best part was we had books in our library.
Okay.
Obviously, as libraries have books.
Yep, normally.
But there was just like this long category of just like animal books. What is a moose in French? Do you remember?
No.
L'orignal. Or, as my friend Dustin and I used to say,
L'orignal.
original.
Oh, yeah. It's spelled original.
Original.
L'orignal.
Be like, oh, look at this beautiful original.
I'm trying to think of other.
So what are
So, and then
what
we-
are Lay's chips made out
And then
of?
we come... L'orignal. They're made out of mooses. So, regardless...
Moose chips.
So we grab the book that is spelled fuck, and we're like, that can't be right.
Folk.
So we go and we're like, obviously, I think we're like grade 3 or grade 4, and we're going around with all of our friends, and we're like, hey, what does this mean? Like, this cannot be the swear word, and we're trying to like figure it out. So that night, I had a friend who lived across the back lane from me, but his parents were French. So he took the book out, and he got his parents to read him the book. And he came back, he's like, guys, seal means fuck. It's like, yes! Yes!
No, we found a loophole! We did it!
It's like, it's fuck!
It was
yes!
their breakfast club day.
I think fuck means seal, not seal.
Yeah,
Not-
sorry.
Not
Fuck
seal
means
means
seal.
fuck.
Yeah. And then Cam's...
Hey,
Right.
baby, you want to seal? What? Come on, baby, let's seal! Like,
Well, technically, if you said seal... How weird would that have been? If you're, like, French, you've never heard another language your entire life, and you're just hearing people telling other people to go fuck themselves, and it's like, why would a seal...
Why
would
would
I
you seal? Why would you seal yourself?
Yeah. It's like, this makes no sense. This is not a good language.
Why would you cover
So
yourself
when they
in
started-
fur and slide around everywhere? That's just stupid.
Sorry, what do moose chips mean? I'm trying to figure this out.
So are they the Manitoba Original, not the Manitoba Moose?
That's correct. And original Joe's is actually Moose Joe's.
Moose Joe's.
It's the old MJ.
Having
We're
fun
going
with
MJ.
French.
Moose Joe's.
Having fun with French, guys. Come back next week.
Yeah, there you go. Send us out, Craig.
Okay, we'll be back next week with our playoff preview and not a postmortem of the Jets because you guys are assholes.
Yeah, no, and we'll have a final. He sure
Digging
hopefuls.
holes for 23 souls.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Final He's Your Hopefuls. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, whether that be iTunes, Google Play, through the App Store, whatever way you get them. We're there. Just look up Last Minute Podcast. We're on YouTube, of course, Last Minute Podcast. Email the show, lastminutepodcast@gmail.com, and check our Twitter out at Last Minute NPC.